So I'll just kick us off with an intro, unless you'd like to do it, Matthew.
No, I think you should do it.
Are you sure?
You're much better at the intros than
You
I
are
am.
a seasoned veteran when it comes to
That's very
this sort of
true.
thing. But
Not
anyway,
the- not
I'll
the
give it a
intros.
whirl. I'm in training. Smile for the camera.
Okay.
Okay. Bear with us, Dave, and apologies in advance. So Dave Letele, better known as the Mighty Brown Butterbean, has lived a life marked by sharp contrasts and profound transformations. From a childhood steeped in gang culture and crime to hitting rock bottom before clawing his way back to a life of purpose. Dave has not only rewritten his own narrative, but has also become a beacon of hope for countless others. At his heaviest, hope you don't mind me saying this, Dave weighed 210 kilos. But his journey to health wasn't just physical. It was deeply personal and profoundly impactful. Through his work with BBM, Buttabean Motivation, he's helped transform lives with free boot camps, food banks, community kitchens, and outreach. He's shown us that cycles of addiction, violence, and hardship can be broken, and by anybody. Today, we'll explore the peaks and troughs of Dave's life so far, the lessons he's learned, the realities behind the misconceptions that steep addiction, obesity, and gang culture, and the legacy he's building. Dave, you're an insanely busy individual, so we know your time is precious. We're beyond grateful you've made space to share your journey with us. Welcome to the Brink. Nice to see you. Thanks for being here.
Stephen, for a great intro.
Mate, I tell you what, you're a big unit, eh? Like, as in muscly. What do you weigh now?
I'm on the weight journey now.
Yeah, what do you weigh? You're fully kitted out. What are you weighing now?
So at the moment, I'm about 130.
Wow.
Coming out of Christmas, I got down to 108 when I was boxing.
Yeah.
That was just to say that I could lose 100 kilos. You know. So,
Wow.
but for me, it's about just being healthy and happy. You know, being able to maintain it. I used to play league at 120 kilos, so it's really bad about weight.
And how old are you now, Dave?
45. Yeah,
Mate, you don't look 45.
Feel 1,000, but yeah, 45.
No, mate, far out, man. I want whatever you're taking. It's like he's taking the good shit.
Yeah.
You don't look 45, mate.
Something's working.
Well, what do they say? Black don't crack. You allowed to say black?
Well, Matthew identifies as black, so...
Well, no, I identify as coloured.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know the answer to that. It's not mine to answer.
No, but you sort of came to under my, well, like across my radar when you were a boxer, eh? But was that were you a serious boxer, or was it more of a? Because you were in those Dean Lonigan things. Remember when Dino used to run those boxing things?
Yep, it was. I mean, I took it seriously, and the punches definitely were serious. But I don't know. I really got into boxing. It was a lifeline thrown to me. I grew up with David Higgins, who was Dean Lonigan's business partner. And he sort of brought me back when I lost everything over in Oz.
He's Duco Events, isn't he?
Yeah, Duco. A really inspiring guy. You should have him on here. Really, really started from nothing on a state house, single mother, to one of the biggest events people around now. Wow. But he brought me back because he was really worried about me. He brought me back from Australia, I was staying at a house, my sister's house in Rio. I couldn't fit on this bed that I was on, and just depressed and hated my life. And you know when you have those moments when you sit there and go, "Fuck, how did I fuck my life up so bad? You know, how did I end up here?" And sort of the boxing thing came out of that, where Dave, said to me, "Oh, look, Joe Parker's fighting in Germany. If you wanna come." When he paid for me to come back from Australia, he had to pay for me business class because I couldn't fit in the economy.
No way.
So then he said to me, "Do you want to come to Germany to watch Joe fight?" He said, "Well, you better start training because you are not coming in business. You're going in economy." So, it was a long trip for that passenger next to me. That's where it started. Like over there in Germany, I was the head of German boxing. I've forgotten his name, but it was at the Joe Parker weigh-in. So it was on the Klitschko Leopai undercard. It was a big fight. The undercard had their own weigh-in, and over there, the boss of German boxing said was fascinated by him. They never seen such a large, tattooed brown guy looking all angry and depressed. And he said, "I want to see what you weigh. You're massive." And I said, "Well, I want to see what I weigh too, because every time I jump on the scale back home, it says error. So it was, they dragged me through the crowd and like an elephant by the trunk and chucked me on a scale, and I weighed 178 kilos. And everyone here had a boxing thing over in Germany. They were surrounded by six packs, and they were shocked. Yeah. They all hit the ground. They said, look, this fat bastard. But I was so happy. The contrast was amazing. I've still got the photo of it somewhere because everyone's so shocked, but I had a massive smile on my face because I just realised I'd lost 30 kilos. So
yeah, from 205 to 178.
I'm the man. I'll beat anyone here. I'm the toughest man in the world, and that's where the Buttabean concept was born. Dave Higgins was a good marketer. Said, I've got what you're going to do. You're going to do this.
How long ago was that? That's quite a while ago.
That was April 2014.
Yeah. Because I remember going to you were fighting at where did you do those fights? Was it the Liston College? Was it Liston College? No.
Oh, I used to fight all little ones as well, but the Duco ones I'd fight before Joe Parker fights. So that was the whole concept.
Oh, okay. Yeah, gotcha. Okay,
we want you.
But yeah, I think I saw you fighting at that ASB at the ASB set. ASB set. That's right. Yeah. That's where you first came onto my radar. Mate, congratulations, man.
Yeah, it was a
like,
journey.
What a journey.
It was hard because, I mean, I had to play that character of a real arrogant. They said, we're going to call you the Brown Butterbean after the famous American boxer called Butterbean. He was a big fat white guy. We're going to call you the Brown Butterbean. We can't call you black because it's not very PC. So we'll call you the Brown Butterbean. They probably want to get away with it now. And you got to be the most arrogant asshole. Go and watch all those old wrestling, and you're the heel. You only talk about yourself in the third person. You're gonna, cause fights at every weigh-in. And I just said, okay, well, how much am I going to get paid? Because I had no money, and that's how the concept was born. And each area Joe Parker fought in, I had to call out whatever area he was fighting in. So we called out South Auckland was my first one, and out of all areas, my luck, I had to call out South Auckland. And that's where it was all born. And as I was going. I was getting death threats. I'm going to shoot you on sight. You're a disgrace to all your people. The worst one I ever got, and I remember it to this day, was I'm going to send you some rope to hang your family.
What?
I heard that. That's just unreal.
I was getting these messages daily, and at the time I was now living in a community home, a Grace Foundation community home my sister ran. I was living on a mattress on the floor. That was my life, But wow. I used it as just fuel. I said, I'll fucking show you guys what I can do. And that's how it was all born. And each fight I'd lose weight, and that's how BBM was born. People wanted to know how I was doing it.
Wow.
So the story that got you there, well, there's an after story and a before story. So I think probably to give people a bit of background, it might be a good idea to go backwards as far as you want to discuss what got you to be the Mighty Brown Butterbean, and then what ensued after that, the greatness that you've built.
Oh, it's just been a roller coaster, like life, as we all know.
That's how it reads.
I wasn't born into sort of a normal type of family. My father was the pres of the Auckland chapter of the mob, so I guess we thought it was normal, but it was far from it.
Of the mongrel mob.
Yeah, the mongrel mob. The Auckland chapter, my dad was the president of that chapter. He joined when I think he was like, he was a ward of the state at 9. He got taken away. And that's why when I talk about this national, what they're doing, it doesn't work. You can't take people out of homes and think they're going back to the same environments. He was a ward of the state at 9. That was really his road for the next few decades. What he did for a living, he was a bank robber, so he robbed banks to put food on our table. Caught when I was 5, and went to prison. I got shipped off to Australia, and
with your mum or just
to live with my grandparents. We lived in Mount Druitt, and that's why when people think South Auckland's bad, man. If you go over to areas like that, man, it's full on.
Where's Mount Druitt? Mount Druitt's West Sydney, eh?
Yeah, Western Sydney. I stayed in Brink. It was full on, but that's sort of, I stayed with my grandparents. My dad's parents were very strict 7-day Adventists, and they moved over there because they were, really embarrassed about what was going on with my dad. They moved countries, and I went with them. So I was lucky. Yeah. That at least I had family that could take me out of these environments. A lot of kids born to this, they're stuck. You know what I mean? They're stuck into it. And that's sort of where my life was. I came back when he got out. And, you know, I really wanted
How old were you when you came back?
I came back when I was 12. Yeah, 12. So I went over when I was 5.
Yeah.
So I was sentenced to 10 years. And, you know, I moved out. My mum and dad still together. And I just hated
They're still together now?
Still together now. My parents
so
run a
awesome.
foundation, Grace Foundation. So I always forget to say this, so it's good I'll talk about it now, is that my parents run Grace Foundation, which was started by my late sister, Vicky Letele, and my father, Dave. They look after people out of prison. So they have about 500 people in their care. They have community housing. They're faith-based rehab. What we have to understand is prison's not rehab. It's punishment. It's needed, but you better have some kind of rehab programs in there. Otherwise, people are coming out worse, not better.
And they're going to go straight back in, right?
Yeah. And so that's what they do. So amazing work. But, you know, when they turn their lives around. But it took them a while as well. And you know, my main things on childhood is I just remember hating being poor. You know, I hated not having money. I hated having crap shoes and, you know, but I used it as a driving force for me. I wanted to be rich. I wanted to be successful. And for a lot of us, as you know, Matthew, you know, sport was the way out. You know, so I really, you know, trained hard. My father pushed me hard, and I was on that route. And I passed School C and passed sixth form. I went to uni. But only problem was, all I did, I just went there. So I went to uni and discovered alcohol. But so I was pretty good. I thought I was breaking the cycle. I was really proud of myself, and you know, it was tough, but I was proud. My parents were proud, but then at 21, my life just took a detour, and I guess it's the main things I'll talk about is the tough times. And this was the first real tough time I went through, where my father, again, you know, he just got tired of. For me, it's not having money. You know, it's no accident there's an increase in crime if there's a massive increase in poor people. You know,
exactly,
desperate people with nowhere else to turn to. But crime in that life. So my dad, you know, he was a courier driver, but he wanted to make more money. So he became a gardener. What do you reckon you're going, Matthew?
Well, I've been a gardener, mate, and you don't get a shitload being gardeners.
He was cultivating.
But he was cultivating the marijuana.
Yeah, so he got caught for that when I was 21. And I just, that was one of the toughest times of my life, because when he went away when I was 5, I didn't understand. You don't get it. But 21, I understood. And I was actually working as a security in one of his warehouses in Mangere, a big, you know, weed growing operation. And I just went right off the rails when he went away. I remember getting the phone call from my mum saying, "Don't go to work today, we'd be raided." And that feeling, that's the feeling I talk to young kids who think it's cool to be a gangster. They see the flashy cars and gold and bikes, and they want that, and they don't see any other way of getting it. You know, they say, well, this is the other side, which is not ever shown, and that feeling of what crime takes. And I just was, you know, I quit university, I quit my job, and I ended up moving into a tinny house in Mangere, selling drugs, doing drugs, just being an idiot. In my mind, trying to be this guy, trying to, you know, be a bad guy, and you know, so people still know I'm here, even though, you know, my uncle's back in prison, he's serving 15 years, my dad's gone back to prison, but I'm still here, you know, and I can still, you know, protect my mum. That was going through my mind, and at the same time trying to, you know, hurt my dad, you know, by you know, behaving this way, because he never wanted that for us. So I was trying to, it was.
But you would have just been hurt and angry, right?
Oh man, I was like a lot of, we see it now. I was walking around with chips on both my shoulders, and I hated the world. I hated the system, and I hated myself, you know, and everything culminated one night. I came home really drunk and high. I went into the kitchen, and I didn't want to be here. So, you know, I walked into the kitchen, I opened up the kitchen drawer, and I poured out a steak knife, and I put it into my chest.
What?
And, that was the first sort of time real rock bottom moment. Just stabbed myself here, and I still had the lump, little scar here, and I always feel that lump in the mornings, and I sort of, as a reminder, how far I've come.
Yeah.
So, that was the first sort of rebuild from there that I had to do.
Was that what you'd call your rock bottom? I mean, sometimes we have a few of them.
Yeah, I've had multiple, and hopefully, touch wood, never again. Oh, there's my dog.
He doesn't want you to have any more either.
I just remember, so I waking up in hospital, my mum's crying. I'm just trying to console mum, saying, "Mum, don't worry about it, it's just drunk, I didn't mean it." Then they try to bring my dad in. He had 2 prison guards with him. I really didn't want to see him. I was so mad at him. And then when you do things like this, they send a psychiatrist around to evaluate you. So, I just told her what she wanted to hear. I studied psychology at university. I enjoyed psychology. So I just told her what she wanted to hear, and I was out. And the moment, I remember it like it was yesterday, sitting on the back doorstep of this tiny house in Margaret, 36 Plumley Crest. It's now a Grace Foundation community home, doing good work. But I was sitting on that back doorstep, and I just stared up at the sky and said, "Man, surely God, there's more for me than this." I didn't know what, but I knew there was more for me than this. And I always say to people, when we're, so many of our people are stuck at the bottom, and we look around and we think it's impossible to get up, and we're too embarrassed to ask for help. And I always say that asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness.
It's true. That's very true, though, man. That's so true that you say that.
Yeah,
it's so true, because that's the hardest part to ask.
Yeah, it is so hard to ask and so hard to accept help. And we saw it through COVID with our work. It was never when we started our food bank, it was never the men coming. They're always too embarrassed. So that's what we're here for. We're here to help. And I got up off that doorstep, and I started again, and from there ended up being in Australia playing league for North Sydney Bears.
Did you?
That was the opposition to Manly. We're
what year was that?
League. They didn't have the NRL then. That was when they were out.
Oh,
All the big NRL games. So I was chasing that dream for a while, sort of jumped back on that wagon and played in France, and ended up playing for Cootamundra with Les Boyd, where he was from.
He was from Manly.
He got me to Manly, so I signed with Manly for a year, and that's when I was 27, and I'd already had about 5 knee ops, and so I knew it was only because of Les that I got there. But and I realised, I said, "Man, I've got my work cut out." It's I turned up, and I was a prop at that stage, and your opposition props that you're going for that same position, they run like centres and pass like halfbacks. Yeah. And I couldn't sidestep anymore. My knees were gone. So I was just, But so that was, and I ended up, owning some businesses in Australia, and fucked it all up. So I came back here in February 2014. That's when the second rebuild started.
I had no idea, mate, that you played for Manly.
Yeah, I contracted them, but as you know, I needed the money.
But you signed for Manly. You were at Manly, right?
Manly, and it was amazing, to get there. And I guess a lot of what I learned over in Australia with the footy is up here. And the sports psychology and the way we think about things is what we do and teach in BBM. It's exactly the same thing. I always remember at Manly, the hardest preseason I've ever done in my life. I went to sand dunes out by where they film Home and Away.
I know them well, mate.
And they called him the Sandhill Warrior, and he turned up on a fucking kayak out of nowhere. I'm starting the speedos and goes, "Come on, boys!" And man, it was just insane.
Death.
And just running around for what seemed as hours, and then the last part was doing shuttles up, and they use water bottles as the cones. Yeah. But you weren't allowed to drink any water.
I know, mate.
They said, if you touch this water, you are gone. And we were only part-time, so we were at the full-time, so we believed it. But at the end of it, he said, and I take this, and everything we teach us, at the end of it, he goes, everything we've learnt here. Sorry, my phone's ringing.
That's right.
Can you guys still see me?
Yeah, bro, yeah.
Everything we've learnt here, he said to me, at the end of it, he said to everyone, everything you've learnt here, you can walk out into the field or into life and understand that no one's worked harder than you. It's not possible. You know, so we take that when I'm working with guys that, with 200-300 kilos, I say, don't even worry when people run past you like you're standing still, because you strapped on 200 extra kilos onto their back, they wouldn't be able to move. There'll always be people better, stronger, faster than us, but no one ever will outwork us because of the amount of work we've had to do to get here. That all came from my elite days. Yeah.
It's a great attitude, mate, and a great way to look at it too. And super motivating. Yeah,
it was cool, man. And that's when I saw when I first got to North Sydney, I got why Australia is so much better than us. And
because the culture.
Yeah, just the way they trained. It was the mindset stuff. Then it was different here.
Yeah.
And
they take the piss.
Yeah. I got to North Sydney from playing barter card and over here, which was the top comp in New Zealand.
That's right.
Went over to man, I was actually injured. Went to North Sydney. I got injured, and they brought out all these rowing machines, and then they put buckets next to the rowing machines. And I said to the guys, I said, "What the fuck's that for?" They go, "It's for when you spew." I said, "What?"
Yeah.
What do you mean? Coming from New Zealand, for what? And the guy before me, he was rowing. We had to do all these sprints. You had to make this distance in this time. And he was rowing and he fainted. He collapsed. The two trainers come, they pick him up, say, "Next." And I was the next person. But that I just realised it's the mental fortitude, the resilience they teach from a young age. That's why they always have it over us.
Yeah, resilience, mate. Exactly right. That's the one word I'd use. They're just so much more resilient. We're getting better though.
Yeah, no, we are. This was back in the early 2000s. So
yeah. We're pretty tough now. Tough now, but it was. We were a fair way behind them on the mental scale of things. That's for sure.
So your tale, David, of resilience, it really kicked off for you with, I guess, the advent of moving back to New Zealand and the creation of the Mighty Brown Butterbean. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I've had, because I've had to do it a few times, and I just hope that I don't have to ever do it again, because it's not nice. But that latest time, was 2014, coming back here and restarting my life. I remember I came back and I had no money. Nothing. I didn't have my children. It was all my fault. I had no one else to blame but myself. I'd fucked it up.
Can I ask you a question, Dave?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? What was it that you'd fucked up? Was it you were on substance or drinking, or you just went off the rails? What was it? Is there a common theme or a common factor that?
Yeah, I got really overweight, so I wasn't looking after my health. I was just working. I had no idea how to handle money. Yeah. So when I got a bit, I fucking spent more of it, and then I got involved with, got on drugs and alcohol, and just started being a fucking idiot, really.
Yeah.
And you're chasing it to keep the lifestyle up. You're chasing it by whatever means possible.
Yeah.
And it never ends well. And I came back here, and I just the moment that sticks in my head is when I was thinking of one of my sons, or the moment when he left and he looked back at me.
Yeah.
And he looked back with a look like he knew he wasn't going to see me in a while.
Well,
That look in his eye stuck in my head, and you idiots. The inner critic. You had it all, now you got nothing, you fucking loser. And I was really contemplating taking my life. It was constant, this voice.
Yeah.
You should end it, you should end it, you should end it. It was deafening. On just sitting on this bed, looking up at the roof, thinking, fuck this. And but I had to silence it, and the way for me to silence it was I got up, I borrowed my sister's car, I borrowed some petrol money, which was humiliating, and I drove to One Tree Hill and went for a walk around the summit. That was how I silenced the voice, because while I was walking around the summit, I was not thinking about life. I was thinking about, this is a steep hill, I was like,
Yeah.
and so I realized, then afterwards, that whole, going back to exercise, and I felt a little bit better because the endorphins running through my body at the end of it.
Yep.
The important thing, though, is I stopped thinking about life, and
You got out of your mind.
Got out of my mind, and I said, I've got to do this more often. And that's how the dangerous part for me, because I always say you got to surround yourself with good people. So at the start, I was alone, and I'd drive home and I'd always look at power poles, listening to sad fucking music, looking at power poles thinking, man, I'm just going to drive into it and just, veer, go, just like never had the courage to do it. But it was there. So I realized I just had to train all the time. I have to keep myself busy. I had no job. I had nothing, no money, no kids. But I still had a good family that could help. I had good friends with David Higgins. And that's when people started coming into my life again. Like I played with a guy at Mararewa, a guy called PJ, and he was just opening up a gym called Habitat for Fitness in Kingsland. He saw me, and he hadn't seen me since our league days. And when he saw me, he goes, what the fuck's happened to you? I've just let myself go. And I told him, and he said, look, if you turn up here, I'll help you. And I turned up every day, and he helped me and, got me on track. And then, I had Auckland MMA, and people would just put, body talk and new people they saw something. I don't know what it was, but they were just helping me with no expectation of anything in return. Like, just really helping me. My first boxing coach, Jeff Elia, just...
Mark Elia's brother.
Mark Elia's brother.
I know, Jeff.
I was coached by Mark in Cootamundra. I played with Mark.
Okay.
Yeah, good family.
Oh, real good family.
So
beautiful people.
I just had all these people helping me. And that's when I thought, man, I said to myself, if I ever make it through this and I'm able to help others, I'm going to do it. And that's what's happened. Just on a
Wow, it's massive, mate. Just like the journey, and mate, thanks for being so open about that. Because when you're saying about that person in your head just telling you like, just end it. It just reminded me when we were speaking to Mike King the other day. Yeah, I had the same thing. He said, I just had this inner critic in my head just screaming at me. And so I guess I'm thankfully that's never happened to me, but like it must be an awful place you find yourself, and then, but I guess the thing that makes me happy and which makes you happy is I always feel better after exercise.
Yeah.
Like your whole mood is just completely different, right? It's insane. And it's free. Yeah,
100%. It's saved my life, and it's the anchor of everything we do in BBM. It's the hook. We get them in with the free exercise while they got the ball. We put everything else around it, so with the education, nutrition, all this. But yesterday, we were meant to do this yesterday. My day started fucking up from 7:30 a.m. But once I had the workout, I managed to get a workout in later in the day. I felt, centered again. I felt okay. And like that's my drug. I don't drink or do drugs or anything anymore. And
how long have you been sober for?
Oh, geez, for a while now, for a few years. I was just not a good drug.
Me neither.
Yeah, I just get.
I don't think there's many of them, mate. I haven't met many good drunks.
Not at the end of the drinking career.
And 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 then as I started getting into the boxing, started getting some kind of a profile, I realized I just can't risk this. And plus, when I drink, I'll do anything. I'll take anything. I don't care, So we have to, we have to lead by example. So I cut that off a few years ago.
Yeah, good on you, man.
Speaking of the leading by example, with all the people, your family, your friends, you speak of Dave Higgins, the support that you had, the people who reached out because they wanted to, they didn't necessarily have to. You seem to have taken on the ethos of pay it forward, like in terms of what you've now built. Like you've you were the seed that's been watered, and then you've grown into a tree that's sprouted everywhere, and you've done so much.
Good analogy, mate.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good
Thank
analogy.
you. But it is so important, right? The paying it forward, and that's how I often hear you spoken about in terms of what you do for those around you in your community.
The way I live my life is, if you can help, you should. I think if we all live that way, this world will be a better place. It doesn't have to matter how big or small. If you can help, then do it. The thing that we've built in BBM is if I see an issue, like, we've got a gym in Manukau. That gym costs a lot of money, and it's all free. A gym in New Lynn, all free. We have free doctors and nurses with total healthcare in South and West Auckland, because that came out of, I understood that not many of our people even had GPs, let alone.
Exactly.
So by the time they don't go to the doctors, they present to the hospital when it's almost too late.
Yeah.
Why don't we have this facility where they can come in, where they trust the people, they feel safe, and we can get them earlier. So we got a place in Tukoroa as well. The food share started a recruitment company, again, out of the fact, we're helping all these people through COVID. So the reason why we started the food bank in COVID was because so many people were falling through the cracks of the system. And the day before the first ever lockdown, we helped a mum of 4 who had no food and no money the day before the first lockdown. A social worker asked if I could help. I said, of course I can. And when I went out and we helped the mum, and we walk out, she's crying. The kids come running up, Mum, we've got food now. And that moment, I understood this is fucked. And there'll be this mum represents one of thousands of people going into a lockdown with no food and money. So that's when we started. And we started it because we could,
Yeah.
So let's just give it a go, and it cost us pretty big, but so everything was sort of started, came out of that analogy. If we can help, we should. And I one of the proudest times of my life is when I bring people, PJ back from Habitat Fitness, or I bring Alex Flint from Body Talk, and I bring them to the gym.
Yeah,
and you see them tearing up because the ripple effect of them helping me. The ripple effect, and even David Higgins.
That first pebble thrown, right?
Yeah. I'm still very, he's one of my best mates, and when he's telling the story, quite often when he's pissed, he's telling the story of the help. He's helped a lot of people, but only not many of the people he's helped have gone and taken that help. So
and kicked on.
Help, but I had to take it, and I had to work for it. So you got to want it bad. Anything, if you want to change. It doesn't matter what support you have, unless you want the change. Nothing's going to happen.
Absolutely right, mate. It all boils down to you in the end, right?
Yeah.
You can have all the resources, you can throw money at it, but in the end, that person's got to want to change. And that's the frustrating thing, right? Like some people have, like unlimited resources or have the opportunity, but just throw it away. And then there's other people that just, you throw them a lifeline, they just grab it, right? Yeah. And they pull themselves out of the swamp.
Yeah. And that's the people like that are the ones that we have, like James. I know you're friends with him. We have work at BBM. The people that have gone through it have come out the other side losing 100, 150 kilos. The weight loss is always the wow thing. Like, man, they see the before and afters. But it's like how much happier they are, how they're living life now, how they're working now. That's really the amazing thing. So they're the people now who run our programs. So I don't want more followers. It's not about getting my following up on Instagram. I want more leaders. Our people need more leaders, and that's what we're doing, creating leaders.
Yeah, that's amazing, mate. That's amazing. Have you been knighted yet? Has anybody nominated you yet?
No, I don't. No one's nominated. I think you've got to hire a PR firm to go out and do all that stuff for you to get it done.
Mate. Yeah. No, but look. The day you are, I'll be there we won't be able to drink any piss.
Just don't put a sword in his hand.
No, but bro, like it's just like what a journey, man. Like what a journey.
For going back to the BBM, it's I want to say empire, but that's the wrong term to use. But I don't know how much Matthew knows about it, and our listeners, I'm sure many do. But in terms of what's grown from 2014, which your boot camps, which started off, I think, were they in fields or people's gardens, back gardens? Were they?
Yeah, so we started our first boot camp. Well, it wasn't really even a boot camp. It was me helping my father-in-law's mate to lose some weight. We met him, his wife, my wife, at Trust Stadium in West Auckland. And at that stage, we had the Facebook group. So BBM was a Facebook group. And we met there, and I just thought to myself, I wonder who else wants to come, And then we started out South Auckland in a driveway with one lady. And I thought to myself, again, I was PTing her. So I was trying to make money PTing. And I said to her, look, I'll make it free for you. I'll train you for free if you let me bring others. And I put it on the group. Anyone want to come? And we quickly outdrew that driveway. And then park across the road, outgrew that. And then we just started going to different parks. And really from nothing, I remember the really cold, rainy days training in anywhere we could. Then we moved into halls, and then I just thought, we got our first facility. I met with Lion Foundation, and I knew the boss there, and he said to me, blue sky it, Dave. I didn't even know what that meant, but he goes, blue sky it. If money wasn't a problem, what would you want? I said, I'd love to have our own facility. He goes, well, let's make that happen. Wow. So I went out, and I'm just like, boom, I'm full on. I went out, done it, signed the lease, fuck it, let's do it. And then we did it.
Yeah.
So,
funding, what? He pulled the funding.
No.
Bullshit.
But it forces you to just have to hustle. And we managed to do it, and that's sort of how, what we built it is pretty amazing what we've managed to build from nothing.
You have 3 free gyms now, is that right? Or that was...
Yeah. So we've got the Manukau, Newland, Manukau. So Manukau costs us over 150 grand a year, including heads. So that, where we are, it's a good deal because it's right in where we need to be, surrounded by all the fast food outlets. We're there. Newland, it's over 90 grand a year.
Yeah.
And for Newland, there's zero funding, no funding for that. There's no government funding.
No government funding, nothing.
Nothing.
On that note, can I mention, because it should be mentioned, because I think it's that your app, your fitness app, bbm.fit, that basically bankrolls all of this, isn't it? Or did at some point?
That was it. So bbm.fit, we had run our online programs. I met a company called Macroactive. Amazing guys, John Franich, Joseph Rakic, Ken. And I met them, and they just back in 2016, and they said, Dave, we love your community work. We're really worried about how many shots to the head you're taking. Have you thought about what you're going to do post-boxing? And that should be as soon as fucking possible. So they had this app, and they said, look, we're going to do this for you for free. We're going to set everything up. And that's how that started. And that keeps the day-to-day operations of BBM going. But we have, sponsors like Tyndall Foundation, Foundation North, all the corporates that, Z Energy pay all our leases out south to all these different people that jump on board, that believe in the kaupapa. Once they see it, if you come and you see it for yourself,
you got it.
Yeah.
It speaks for itself, and then you get people jumping on board.
Every time government
but you're the driver.
Yeah.
You're the driver, bro. You're the driver, right? So without you, it just falls over, right? So because you can just tell the energy that you bring to the table, and it comes from a place. We always use this word, but you're authentic. There's no bullshit. What you see is what you get. And it's fucking inspiring. It really is.
Yeah, well, what we've done should be everywhere, and that's our goal this year. Is we've got a program called From the Couch. Which is
beauty.
That's clever.
Actually started where I'd go from their couch. That's how I got the name. I was going to people's houses and training people from their couch. And so we had this gym, and I got these big custom made benches, which they're like jump boxes, but they're not. They're heavy duty couches. The whole idea of it is, okay, we're going to get all the medical support around people. We're going to have them educated around nutrition, because health is far more than just exercise, you know. So
100%.
all these things around them to educate, to fully give them a hand up, and with the children there, every so you can break these cycles. And that program is now a joint venture between us and Tamaki Health. It's got its own general manager, and we're going to look at scaling that to Porirua, Kaitaia, and Whangarei in the first half of this year. And then that's how we can, you know, really scale BBM, is through that program.
Yeah.
What about the BBM recruitment? Because that's another offshoot, right? It's see what I mean? It's like it's an empire.
Just sitting around, all these ideas come out of my head, and we run employment programs for people who haven't worked in a while, and whether it's health or, you know, just being knocked down, you know, and just giving them a hand up. There's so many people take it for granted. They think, oh, these lazy bastards, it's their choice. And the thing about choice is it implies equal starting points. For some people, we just start so far behind. Is what they say to me, Dave, how many chances are you going to give these people? I said, well, how about their first fucking chance? You know,
exactly.
Let's start with that. So we run this employment courses, and all these recruitment companies who are all filthy rich, and they're coming and they're saying, we want to help you, It's okay, cool. So they take people, then they never look after them properly.
Yeah.
And they never come back to me and say, here, Dave, here's a koha for all the work you do for nothing. And so I just thought to myself, fuck it, let's do my own recruitment company. So that's how it started, and it's going really well. We started it last year, probably the toughest time ever to start a recruitment company at the height of all this unemployment. But we teamed up with companies like Chevron, Linfox, Fonterra, all these big companies that, you know, that believe in us. We're all these, and just jumping on board, because what we're saying is, when you support us, you're not just getting workers, and people say they're about the people, but we are about them.
Yeah, it's obvious. Yeah, exactly. So you don't just spin it. Yeah, you walk the walk.
Yeah, because you don't just get a job and you're automatically on your feet. It takes a while, and then sometimes you get knocked back again. So we're there. We're supporting them the whole way, whatever they need. You know, we've had one lady turn up for work, and she's living in her car. We're giving her food, packing her car up, and we soon realise she's actually living in her car.
Yeah.
So we get her into a place. We actually use LinkedIn. You know, jumped on LinkedIn, say we need help, got her into a house. You know, all these opportunities for people, and that's what it's about. But there's proper support. So these companies that are supporting us, not only are they getting good workers, but they all have social good budgets, right?
Yeah.
This is also a massive social good, because you're supporting us, which the money we make from the recruitment and all these different businesses goes back into our social side. So we never have to rely on any government, doesn't matter which one, because they're all the same.
Exactly. It's very true, mate.
Dave, doing a bit of reading and research into you, what you've done, your story, what, you know, where you've been and what you've achieved. Like it's what the impact you've had on the greater community is enormous, and you can see that with, you know, all of these things that you've built and achieved, the people you've helped and the money you've raised and things like that. But I really wanted to understand it on more than just a macro level, also a micro level. So the reason I know about you is because I've got one of our great family friends, Jamie, who went through your program, and I reached out to him to have a bit of a chat to him, because I wanted to understand what it was like for somebody to go through your program, and what his transformation has been like through you. And Jamie, without going to his story too much, he was a big boy, and I've known Jamie a long time. He's a beautiful human being, beautiful family, and Jamie lost 130 kilos. Like, I weigh 75 and he lost 130. So I can't even fathom what that must have taken.
How long does that take?
That took a couple of years. He's been on this journey with us. He started with us in 2022 as a participant. He works for us now. He's one of my he's my right hand man.
And Jamie's a lot younger than me, and I know he wasn't like that. Because of laziness or anything like that. But I saw the misconceptions, the way people, you know, maybe treated him, looked at him, thought of him, and to see and know the change that's happened in him is incredible. And he's earned that, and he's worked so incredibly hard at it. And you can hear when he speaks how proud he is of himself, which
as he should be, mate.
Which is just it's incredible. And so I had a bit of a chat to him, and Jamie said to me off the bat, to him, you're like a brother. I guess you're like family, is how he described it. And I asked him, what, apart from losing the weight, how did your experience, the program, improve your life and why? And he said, losing 130 kilos, it's hard to imagine what went into shifting that amount of weight. And one of the key things for him was that you haven't forgotten your own weight loss journey. So your lived experience, he could see you've done it, you're pushing him to do it, and you're a living example of the fact that it's possible, and that was zero judgment. He mentioned obviously consistency, which is a big thing for you, but also the importance, as you've already mentioned, of surrounding yourself with people who lift you up.
Yeah, he's amazing. And, Matthew, when he turned up, he could not stand for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Literally. If you going back and look at old footage, he couldn't stand for 5 minutes.
Before he had to sit down.
He had to sit down. He was in such bad shape. But, man, there was something, you can tell that there's been a few people a handful of people like him that have lost that kind of weight, and you can just see it. You see it in them early. That just how bad in their eyes, like how bad they fucking want it, I always
carry on.
When you notice it when I say that, hey, you want to meet me here? I'm going for a walk. You want to meet me? It was never a no. It was always yes. Yeah. Doesn't matter where it was. I travel anywhere to be trained by someone who knows what they're doing and a good place. And they just always turning up. And then I remember. He started through the floods. When the floods happened over here and we just kicked into overdrive with our work, he was volunteering. And I said to him, man, did you ever think, because from volunteering, I employed him. I got him working full time. And I said, did you ever think that you'd be here working now with BBM? And he said, did you ever think? On me, and I was going, well, bro, to be honest, no. It's just amazing what he's been able to do, and he's now the leader of From the Couch in West Auckland, helps in South Auckland as well. It's going to be a big part of our expansion plans, because they then become the people who go and train the trainers. Sean Fitzpatrick's nephew as well. Sean, and Sean was, he broke down. He was in tears, because it's like you're watching your family die a slow death before your eyes. So to see that turnaround, it's amazing.
But it must be amazing for you, bro, like just the vibe or the feeling that you get from helping people. It's kind of, I guess, you don't get that high from drinking or doing drugs or whatever, but that would be your natural high now, right? The buzz that you would get from that, helping people and seeing the change.
Looking at James and people that that we've helped, not just me, but all our team at BBM, when you look at them and you think their lives are better because we exist. People had food in Christmas, kids had presents in Christmas to open because we exist. It's an amazing feeling. And, like I said, there's 4 pillars with BBM. They're always hooked by no judgments, but there's the starting, don't overthink it, the second thing, being consistent. It's like the biggest thing. Once we start, we're always going to fall off. Life sucks.
Hard.
But you can't stay off. You just got to get up, keep going.
Got to get back up and get back on the horse, right?
Third thing is really important, being around good people that pick you up when you're down. There was another guy, Phil, who actually inspired James to start. So Phil lost 150 kilos.
What?
Phil. So he's the one that motivated James to turn up to BBM. And when Phil was 300 kilos, he said to me, can I start hanging out with you and start training with you? I said, yep. But the rule is, anyone you're hanging out with now who's inviting you out to eat shit and drink shit knowing you're almost dead, you need to cut them.
Yeah, gotcha.
I don't want them around you, and they're definitely not around me.
Yeah.
And if they're your friends, they'll support you. And if they don't support you, they'll never be your friends, so fuck them. That's so key. Surround yourself with people who want you to be better. And me and James were training weights the other day, and we had a little bit of an argument, not a big one, but I was pushing him. We're all into weights now with a couple of meatheads in the gym, fucking throwing dumbbells around. And he was cheating with his form a bit. I said, don't fucking cheat. Don't fucking cheat. Do it properly. And we got our training. He goes, oh, Dave, Marcus, Dave, relax. No. He's not going to get away with it. He's not going to fucking cheat. And James had a bit of a thing, and I said to him after, I said, bro, I'm not paid to be here, brother. I'm your bro, and I'm never going to let you take a shortcut. That's what it's about. So
that's the attitude, though. That's the attitude, mate.
And then the last thing,
take that attitude.
No excuses. That's our mantra. That's why you'll see us doing a photo of the X. No excuses. Don't need any.
That's what it is. Because I've been seeing him do that for years. We're on the same.
That's our gang sign, brother. That's our gang sign. No excuses.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. I was like, oh, there must be some sort of gang sign they got going.
We realise in BBM, like, people want something to belong to.
Yeah.
So you got to give them something that's positive. So we have our patch. That's our patch, BBM. We have our sign. That's the sign.
Yeah.
People respect it. It means something. And it's easy to say no excuses, hard to live by.
Yeah, 100%, mate.
Well, we say the only way, it's like the way we live and what we teach with James and all our people that we help is the only way you can truly live by this mantra of no excuses by living with having a very strong why and living with a purpose. My why when I started my journey was wanting my kids back. I have all my children back now, new wife and son, but when times were tough, I'd imagine being at the airport with my arms out and waiting for my kids and the embrace, that feeling when I'd embrace my children. That's what I used when I was getting all the hates living at a community house.
Yeah.
Use that feeling. Now my why's been an example to my kids, but it's my people, our people. People like James, everyone out there thinking it's impossible, all of our youth thinking it's impossible, born into struggle. To let them know that you can have this life for you too. The good life is for all of us, not just the select few.
100%,
man. So that's the why.
Oh, mate, honestly, bro, I could sit here and listen to you for ages, but I know you're a busy man. But it's been a real privilege to spend some time with you, get to know you, and just from my point of view, mate, I take my hat off to you. Like, you really are a freaking legend, bro. You really are. Good on you, man.
Knighthood incoming.
Yeah. Shit.
100%.
Not that I'm into those things. Like, you are one guy that bloody deserves one.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks for having us on. Always a big fan.
No worries, mate.
Thank you. So it's awesome.
Oh, mate. Manly forever, bro. And bucket those sand dunes.
Yeah.
All right, making time for us, Dave.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it.
Take it easy, man.
Bye.
See you, Tim.